In this part of the presentation, we're going to be speaking about the well-known British strategy of divide and conquer. Now, the counter metaphor, the counter saying to this would be divided we fall and together we stand. And it's a very commonly used phrase. Its origin may be placed 2,000 years ago in the New Testament, in the Bible. And so in the Bible it reads, if a house be divided against itself, that house cannot stand. Similar verses of the New Testament include Matthew 12:25, and Jesus knew their thoughts and said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought into desolation, and every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. The British were very aware of this. Unfortunately for the West Africans, since the Catalan Atlas depicted Mansa Musa holding a golden nugget, European forces had become aware of the huge wealth that West Africa possessed. After the death of Mansa Musa and the fall of Songhai to northern forces, West Africa had been divided and unfortunately weakened. To further the weakening of the West African civilizations, the Europeans leveraged something in their possession that wasn't in the possession of West Africans, and that was guns. Sylvain Diouf explains in his book Fight the Slave Trade that the Europeans targeted decentralized and vulnerable communities. Examples are the Adja state of Alada, Wida, Popo and Jakin. They then traded guns with them for captives. So the Europeans gave guns for exchange of basically lives or souls, African people. They then traded guns with them for captives. The West Africans had already bear witness to this destruction of 40,000 Songhai warriors by an allied European and Moroccan force, 1/10 of the size of the Songhais. The obvious advantage of guns created appeal. History had already revealed that if you have guns, you can take on a force 10 times the size as your own. By targeting the smaller, disorganized but upwardly mobile tribes, i.e. those tribes who wanted more power, the Europeans were able to create an arms race. The smaller tribes would then use their guns to raid the outskirts of the larger empires, to capture Africans and sell these Africans to Europeans in exchange for money and more guns. As well as this, Europeans would raid coastal towns to capture slaves directly. This would eradicate the need for a middleman and would potentially increase profits. The Europeans would beat the slaves into submission or capture, or let's say the Europeans would beat the Africans into submission and capture them at gunpoint before shackling them and forcing them to walk miles back to the coastline, where they would cage them or hold them at larger forts such as Elmina Castle in Ghana or Goree Island. Now, the history of Africa at this time is quite interesting but also quite complex. It creates a lot of moral arguments. My task for you, and this is basically a thought experiment. I want you to weigh who's at fault in this thought experiment. This is a thought experiment. Nigeria has developed revolution. So you're going to imagine this is the case. Nigeria have developed revolutionary new laser beam technology, which they've developed into guns that fire from drones. The Nigerians sell these armed drones to small towns in Ireland, Scotland and Wales. The members of these towns have experienced long-term unemployment due to lack of industry in these areas, i.e. they're poor and they're desperate. The Nigerians ask the small townsfolk to raid the cities of Liverpool, Manchester and London. They do, leading to widespread chaos in Britain. Britain collapses as a civilization and its glory days are forgotten. Who is to blame? Is it the individuals on the outskirts of the UK who took the guns, or is it the Nigerians for taking vulnerable individuals and leveraging their vulnerability to their advantage? I want you to discuss as a group. Feel free to debate under the guidance of your teacher, And once you're ready, we can continue the presentation.